What is going on, you guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be working on my C3 project car, and we are going to be restoring the frame and all the suspension bits. We got a lot of work to do, so let's just get straight into it. I've already done some work off camera, and let me tell you, getting the bushings out was a hell of a job. It was not fun at all, but all the bushings are out. We do still have ball joints in the control arms that we need to get out. Other than that, the suspension is almost stripped. Now, unfortunately, GM used a shit ton of rivets all throughout the C3, and that includes the control arms. So some of these ball joints are riveted in, or I guess 3 out of the 4 are. It looks like one of them was replaced at one time, so that one's bolted in at least. So yeah, we either get a drill them out or use the Dremel on them. Not really sure which tool I'm gonna pick. Probably both, but not looking forward to it. And then on top of that, they also riveted in these knuckles. So each one of these is a rivet, and we either need to drill them out or take the Dremel to them again. So yeah. At least with the front spindles, it's just kind of a normal traditional setup that you would kind of expect. The rotor just slips right on, and it's not like this. Or sorry, actually, I got that mixed up. This is the front, this rotor slips on. The front's the annoying part, my bad. The rear is just a normal, traditional kind of, rotor. But it is interesting because the parking brake is, I'm gonna call it like a drum setup, which is kind of cool. And the reason, well, at least nowadays for performance reasons, that is used is when the rotors get really, really hot, like if you're tracking the car and then you throw your e-brake on, it could seize together. So when it's internal and the e-brake presses against the inside of the rotor here, that won't happen. It won't seize up. So that's kind of cool. Don't know if the Corvette kind of planned that out or if they just did that because it was easier with their design. I don't know. But like with modern day Porsches and stuff, they do it for performance reasons so that the calipers don't get all seized up on the rotor, But anyway, that's enough talking. Let's start getting these rivets out. So I already noticed one fun thing is this other side. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I think we're gonna have to use a wrench. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get a socket in right there. It's a little tight, so that's fun. Anyway, let's zip this guy out. Okay, there's a nut backing it up. So let's see, let me go get a wrench. Ball joint numero uno is out. Now we can just zip out this little bump stop thing. There we go. This control arm is ready for sandblasting. I will probably hit it with brake clean, just so that some of this grease is off for the guy, because this thing is disgusting. But yeah, now we got the fun ones where we gotta do a lot of dremeling and drilling. So not looking forward to that, but let's get her done. All right, here we go. So this side has a lot less area to grind down, so I think we're gonna attack this. At least there's only 2, I guess. Something on the bright side, right? So let's go ahead and take the old Dremel doer. We'll throw on some safety squints and send her. All right, so I got extremely violent, but check it out. It's out. Yeah, that was not fun, you guys. I don't know. I took off the other head, still wouldn't come out. I tried kind of opening it up so that maybe it could like relieve pressure if it was squeezing it really tight, like the rivet expanded. So that way, hopefully when I was hitting it, trying to push the rivet through, it would kind of have a little bit more give and go. That didn't work. So then I just took off the ball joint's little attachment area and worked like a charm. It is out. No damage to the control arm. It is a little polished right here, but nothing major. We'll throw probably a grade 8 washer right here. That way we get a little bit more surface area. That's strong, but there's still plenty of good metal, like you can see. I don't know if you can really see on camera, but there's plenty. Now for the other side, I'm really hoping that that doesn't happen again. I'm gonna try my initial method of just dremeling this off. And if that doesn't work, well, we will be cutting off the ball joint again. And I'm really hoping that the other ones are not like this, and hopefully we just dremel off the rivet and it just pushes through. Because that was ridiculous. This is gonna turn into a like 4-hour job instead of an hour, you know? So that's fun. Let's get this side out now. Oh yeah, I'm taking a little break from these control arms. I'm gonna go pick up some Pontiac Fiero seats for the C3. It's a pretty easy swap. You just have to make a little bracket. You can either buy the bracket, which I think it was like $120 for I think the set, so passenger and driver seat, or you can make it yourself. I'm gonna try to make it myself. I don't think it looks that difficult. It's something I can do, but I'm really excited. As you guys know, the C3 seats, they're comfortable. Like I don't have a problem with them. However, it's a little bit frustrating that you can't really adjust the recline. You kind of can. There's some jerry rigging you can do. And then I think on some of the earlier seats, they did have like a little knob that you could adjust and get a little bit of control over the recline, but not great. So the Pontiac Fiero seats look really good in there. And they can fully recline, you know, it's like a regular car seat. So really excited about that. I'm gonna go get them right now. Check these Johns out. Man, I'm pumped, you guys. These are sweet. I am gonna reupholster them. They're not in bad shape. There is that one rip on the bolster right there. Other than that, real solid, but I think that they would look real good black. So that's what we're gonna do. There's reupholstery kits for varying prices. I'm probably gonna get a middle ground choice. I think it was like around $450 or something like that. And they should look pretty dang good. But yeah. Okay, you know I gotta do a little, oh, that's pretty nice. Not too bad. Kind of what you would expect for an 80s. I think this was a 1986, I think. That's what they came out of. So like, I mean, kind of what you would expect. Not like ultra cush, but you know, they're pretty decent. I mean, I would say it's a step up from the C3 seats. And the best part, if I want to recline, I can. But if I want to sit upright, really upright, I can also do that. Now, the one drawback to these, I will say, I guess two, is when you're trying to get to the rear of the car, I'm gonna call it the trunk. As you guys know, you gotta kind of fold your seats forward and lean back there. But with these, I mean, it's gonna be kind of more of a pain in the butt for two reasons. One, on the C3, you don't really have a headrest. It's just kind of like this. It's cut off right here. So you have a little bit more room that way. And then also with the C3, all you literally do to fold the seat is just grab it and fold the seat. This, I'm gonna have to reach inside and then shove my hand down there and pull the lever. And you don't even really get that much folding action. So that's the drawback right there. But the best part is they're comfortable and you don't have to sit like you're in a reclining chair. So it is worth it still. Okay, enough about my amazing seats. Let's go ahead and keep dremeling more. Control arm numero dos, I don't know, is done. And you guys, I'm not an idiot. It worked perfectly fine this time. I don't know why the first one really wanted to fight me. This time I was able to just dremel off the head and give it a few love taps, and she came out. So hopefully with these guys, considering we have 3 rivets for each ball joint, that's the same case. I'm really hoping so. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to these next control arms. Hopefully it goes smoothly. I really hope so. The one nice part about this, though, is for this side of the head, I don't really have to worry about marring up the control arm because this is part of the ball joint. So I can just go crazy on these little rivets right here, not worry about messing up the control arm. So that's nice. Oh boy, looks like there was some rubbing action going on maybe. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna get going with the Dremel. I got these guys done. The first one fought me a lot, and then I learned that actually, I told you, I'm gonna do this side because I don't have to worry about marring up the control arm. Well, turns out far easier to do it on, I'm gonna say the inside, not the outside, the inside rivets. So I just would take off the faces of them and then just hit them with the hammer and a little pin thing, I don't know the name of it, and they would come out. So the second one took me a total of maybe 3 to 4 minutes, if not less. The first one, probably like 6 to 7, because after I knocked off the front ones, I was like, oh, went and did the back ones, and it was easier. So that one I kind of had to do twice. Anyway, now we can move on to the hub, which this is the one I am dreading because these rivets are itty bitty. See that little guy? These guys, oh boy, they got some girth to them. See what I mean? Yeah. So, this is gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna try doing it from the inside, kind of like what I learned on those other ones. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's do it. Oh. Okay, you guys. So after a good amount of time, finally got these suckers out. That was not fun in the slightest. I did end up using my drill. I found that to be the easiest. I'll use my Dremel to make a pilot hole and then send it home with the drill. And then grab the little poker thing and smack on it with a hammer a lot until it went through. It was not fun. Got both of them out. The hubs are not damaged at all. So that is good. Now I just got to get the wheel bearings out of here. And then for the spindles, I need to take those apart. So get like the little dust cover off and whatnot. But that should be easy, especially after all the dremeling and drilling. Also, this is Coke's new holiday flavor. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm enjoying it. So the next thing we're going to be doing is this John. Won't be bad compared to what we were just doing. I'm really looking forward to this. This will take 2 minutes. I really hope that does not bite me in the butt. Watch these bolts be extremely seized and not come out. But I think we'll be all right. I haven't had one bolt be seized on this car so far. Not one. Please do not be the first. They don't look bad though. Let's go ahead and take the impact of this sucker and get these bolts out. Okay, so I have all of the parts soaking. I took everything apart, so the spindles are all taken apart and whatnot. Got all the bearings and racings out of the hubs, and well, now I'm gonna clean them a little bit. The guy that I'm dropping them off to didn't say anything about like deep cleaning them, but he didn't even really say anything about cleaning them at all. I'm gonna be a nice guy and at least get like 80% of the grease off, because that way he can just spend more time sandblasting versus a few hours of cleaning, you know what I mean? So I'll just give them a soak and then pull them out, wipe them down, and call that good. I'm not gonna deep clean them, but like I said, I'll get like 80% of the stuff off, all the loose stuff. The hard stuff, well, that's all him. Which hopefully his sandblaster will be able to get it off. Other than the grease, usually, from what I know, you're supposed to kind of scrape and clean the grease off before sandblasting, because it can kind of clog stuff up, I think. Could be wrong though. Anyway, I'm gonna sit on my beautiful Fiero seats, watch some YouTube. The sink shuts off by itself after about 2 minutes, so I have to keep turning it back on. But yeah, I'm gonna sit, watch some YouTube, and just keep turning the sink back on when it turns off. It is the next day. I just dropped off all the suspension components for sandblasting, and now we can start prepping the frame, which will probably take a little bit of time. Let me show you the frame. It is not in bad shape at all. There really is only surface rust. No scale or anything like that. As you guys can see, just surface rust. So we're gonna just do a quick pass with a wire wheel, and that should be it. And then I'm gonna drag it back outside, power wash it, and then we'll use Pour 15. I think it's Metal Prep, and then I think there was one other product I got from them. It might be degreaser that we'll use. And then once that's all done, we should be able to paint it. And then I also got some cavity spray from Eastwood. Let me look. Yep, this stuff right here from Eastwood. So we'll also use that on the bird cage. There's not really many areas that we can spray with it, but there is a few. So we'll spray up in this channel right here. And then also we can get in through here in that hole, spray in there. And then also in the front of the bird cage right here, we can spray. So up in there. But yeah, you guys, let's just start prepping the frame. I feel like this will go by fairly quick, hopefully. At least there's not really much we gotta fight. I've already power washed this a few times and degreased it, so majority of the grease is already off, so shouldn't be too bad, hopefully. All right, I just got a wire wheel on the drill. Let's see. Let's go to the worst spot, which is probably this. Let's see how well it does. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty quick. I mean, technically, with Pour 15, you can paint over surface rust. So I don't even necessarily need to do this, I don't think. But we will anyway, get it nice and clean. And yeah, so I'm gonna just start wire wheeling. Okay, it is about an hour later and the rear of the frame is about done. There are some areas that I wanna go back through with maybe a little bit more of an aggressive wheel, but it's looking pretty solid, real solid. I still have the underside of the frame to do, but I'm gonna finish all the top side first and then flip it over and do the underside. That way I'm not flipping it back and forth. There's just no point. Just causing myself more work if I do it that way, you know? It is the next day. I probably put in, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours of work just now. And the top and sides are done. I just need to flip it over now and do the underside. But it looks really good. It cleaned up really nice. We have a really good foundation here. I got any of the old paint, which really there was only one section, and I'm kind of thinking it was more overspray than anything. Just right here to about right here, only on this side, there was a little bit of undercoating or something. But anyway, I'm gonna flip this sucker over, and then hopefully, I don't know, 1 more hour of work and we'll get her done. Check it out. So I have finished all the wire reeling, and I just did one quick wipe down with some lacquer thinner just to get rid of a little bit of the grease. Now I'm going to flip it back over. I think for now I'm just going to put the body up in air gel, and then we'll get the frame underneath the car probably, just because I have my little Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight tent, kind of where I need to put the frame, as you can see, and also my Fiero seat. And I have this one in the car just because I was dying to see what it would look like, and it looks good. I am going to reupholster it black. I think I've already said that in this video. I don't remember though. But yeah, they're gonna look so good. Really good. I also think I'm gonna do a little bit of a foamectomy. I don't know if that's what Corvette guys call it, but that's what Miata guys call it. Basically, that's where you just cut a little bit of the foam out of the bottom of the seat. That way I can sit like half an inch lower. And it doesn't really affect the comfort of the seat too much. Maybe a little bit, but not too bad. Anyway, let me show you this. Check it out. All of my parts are back from sandblasting. The guy was really cool. We talked for a while. He did a really good job. It's all ready to get painted. He did wipe it down with acetone and stuff for me. I will probably wipe it down one more time because I have to have them sit for a little bit, unfortunately, before I can paint them, because the paint doesn't get in until I think it was the 24th or something like that. So I got like a few more days. Anyway, time to flip this beast back over. All right, time to show you guys how strong I am. It's honestly not that bad though, at all. When it's completely stripped, at least. I'm sure you could not do this if it was all put together. All right, let's see here. I need to kind of drag it this way a little bit. Do not like that noise at all. Ugh, okay. Nice. All right. Hang on. I gotta pull her a little more, I think. Let's see. Ooh. You know, the best part about this is the mic is right next to my mouth, so you guys can probably hear me grunting. Okay, cool. We're ready to go back over. I think we got enough room. Boom. Done. Cool. Now, I'm gonna throw on the wheelie dolly things. Then we can push her over. Yeah. Let's put this puppy in air gel. We'll leave the seat in there. She's in air gel. If you guys did not watch it, go watch my previous video. I did a undercoating. I stripped the full underside, and it was a lot of work, but now it has a nice little rubberized undercoating on it. And then in the engine bay, we did a nice satin black. But even underneath this undercoating, I did sealer and also this same color right here. That's satin black. But then we did an undercoating over top of it just for a little extra protection. I don't love the texture, so I think I'm gonna knock it down and do one more coat though. Just because I used a nappy roller, and man, it left it a little too aggressive for my liking. So I think sorry, the camera, I was not holding it good right there. I think I'm gonna go back through, and it's pretty easy to knock down some of the nap with my hand and just maybe even just use a Scotch-Brite or something and just kind of knock some of this down, and then go back through with a brush and brush it on. And it'll be a little bit thicker, but I think it'll be better. I think it'll be much better, to be honest. This texture is just, it's so aggressive. I don't know if you can tell on camera. Yeah. So I think doing a little something over top this will be perfect. Anyway, let's get the frame on some dollies and get her in here. And then, man, I do not have very much room in the garage anymore. We will probably paint the frame underneath the car. And then I need to figure out what to do with this little Harbor Freight tent, because this is taking up a lot of space. Yeah. Check it out. She is up on jack stands. I will say, a little side note, this right here is making me really excited. Oh, I cannot wait to get these two things back together. Oh, it's gonna be so sweet. Anyway, up on jack stands, and now the next thing we need to do is degrease thoroughly. I know I did do a quick wipe down with lacquer thinner, but that is not enough. We need to get this thing clean. So I have the degreaser from 415 right here. I'm sure you probably could use another brands of degreaser that's cheaper, but I'm just gonna use this. It came in the kit. I'm gonna dilute this 4-to-1, and I have like a little spray bottle that we'll use. And then we need to just douse this thing and just keep wiping until it's clean. And then after that, we will apply the other product from 415, which is the metal prep. And this is a rust converter and will help etch the metal as well. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get this thing up in the spray bottle and we'll start degreasing. It is the next day. I just took some time and tried to clean up the frame rails even more. So I used my shop vac and I would shove it in one of these holes and then use my air compressor and blow air that way. My thought process is, at least if it's kicking up rocks and stuff, instead of it just settling down in the frame, hopefully it is getting picked up by the shop vac. I have my borescope. I wanna just take a little look-see in there and see. Obviously, we're not gonna be able to get them super clean, but as long as we can get the majority of this stuff off. I'm trying to make it so you guys can see here too. It is not easy to use this borescope. I got kind of a crappy one, honestly. Should have got a nicer one. Let me see if I can go in a better way here. This looks pretty clean over here though, this section. I don't really see too many rocks or anything. Obviously there's surface rust, and I'm gonna try my best to spray the neutralizer in there. But I don't think we'll be able to get all that neutralized, unfortunately, but just kind of is what it is. Over here, you can see some dirt and stuff right there. See that? That's why I was trying to get out, but it's a pain. I think we got most of it out. Definitely still some. I mean, we can see it right there. But I mean, you know what? The rest of these frame rails look really solid. All right, we'll take a little look-see on this. That is the bottom right there. Yeah, you can see there's just some debris still left. I think it is what it is though. I think we got the majority of it. I'm not even gonna look at the rest of the frame because I don't think there's really a point. I know there's little pebbles and dirt and stuff that's just gonna be stuck, and I don't think we're gonna be able to get it out, unfortunately. If you guys know of a way to clean the inside of frames, let me know. I'm not gonna do it on this car because, well, I'm gonna get this painted in this video, so I won't be able to go back and redo it. But for my next project car, I wanna know, what do you guys do to clean up the frames? I don't know if the compressed air is the way to do it, or, I mean, I don't know, is there a better way? Maybe there is, I don't know. All right, little side note. I know I was just asking for advice, and I think it's funny because sometimes I get like really good advice where it's like, I genuinely did not know that. And I love those comments. Like, I want to learn, you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, I don't really have anyone in person to be teaching me any of this stuff. I just read on forums, and if I miss it on a forum, well, I'm gonna make that mistake, and that's unfortunate. So it's really cool to see people comment and give me advice. I really appreciate it, so yeah. And then also I think the hate comments are a little funny. Like, one guy got really mad that I did not say the year of my Corvette. I thought that was hilarious. That gave me a good laugh. I don't know why he cared so much about that, but he really poked him in the wrong spot, you know? Got him real mad. So I did go through with lacquer thinner and wipe down the whole frame one more time. I did that outside, and then I also did it in here. And now we'll do the 415 degreaser. I do think I wanna try just blowing out with the air compressor one more time to see if I can get any more debris out, but yeah. There was one thing I sucked up over here that was interesting. It literally clogged the vacuum, and I had to like get it to go through. I kind of want to see what it was. Let's take a peek. All right, let's see. Do we think it is a dead mouse or something? Oh. Huh, I see it. Hang on, let me go get gloves. Looks like it was just a mouse nest. But yeah, that's gotta be what it was. At first I thought, well, I don't know. Was it this or something else I sucked up? I'm pretty sure it was that. Yeah. It looks like it was just a mouse nest, which is really interesting because I have not found any rodent feces or chewed up wires or anything throughout the whole car while I was working on it. So that's kind of interesting. Check it out. I think this puppy is about as clean as it's gonna get. Unfortunately, there is some grease in some areas that is just too difficult to clean. Obviously, like all the major surfaces, super easy, you know, not bad, other than like all the little welding areas. I did get in there and try to clean it, but the main area that still has a little bit of grease is in here. I mean, I tried my best, but it is what it is. And then also in here has a little bit too. Other than that though, it's pretty dang clean. It looks really nice after that little cleaning session. I can't wait to get the rust converter on there, because then any areas like this that kind of have like that dark orange tint, it should convert that to black, I think. Could be wrong, we'll find out in a few minutes here. But yeah, pretty dang clean. I'm happy with it. It feels nice and degreased everywhere. I mean, if you think about it, I have wiped it down 3 times technically. Once outside with lacquer thinner, once again with lacquer thinner when I brought it in here, and then again with Pour 15's degreaser. So it's gotten cleaned quite a few times. I just went through with the air compressor and blew out all the seams and stuff. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of everything I've done. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the rust converter on there. I think I need to try to find a spray bottle. I think that's gonna be the easiest way to apply this. So, yeah. Okay, so I put some of that Pour 15 rust converter into this old spray bottle I have. Sprayed down the whole entire frame. It looks pretty good. It's been maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, somewhere around there. I will say the one issue with something this big, I went through that whole bottle. I almost could use 2 bottles, to be honest with you, just because you're supposed to keep the surface wet for 20 minutes. I should be okay. I just reapplied in some areas, but as you can see, it kind of turned it to like a black hue instead of that orange. So looks really nice. The frame looks really clean, like really clean. So now the next step is we need to clean the frame with water. They don't really necessarily say if you're supposed to just like wipe it down with water or douse it with water, like, you know what I mean? Like power wash it, or I don't know. So I think I'm gonna just use the container that I did the degreaser in, clean out that container really good, get all the degreaser out of there. Granted, probably wouldn't hurt to just degrease the thing again, but we'll just use water like the instructions say. Spray it down, wipe it off, and then I'm gonna let it dry for a few hours because it says that it needs to be super dry, which, I mean, makes sense. I'm just doing what the instructions say. So yeah, I'm gonna let this sit for probably 10 more minutes just to be safe, and then we'll clean it all off. It's a few days later, and it is finally time to paint the frame. I have not washed the frame with water yet, because if I did, then we would wipe off that coating that was left on by the rust converter, and then we would get surface rust and stuff. So I need to wash off the frame first, and then we can do the coating. But I want to show you guys something. I just wanted to experiment with the internal frame spray stuff, and it's pretty sweet. Let me show you how it's looking. So I've done this frame rail, as you can see, it's pre-coated in there. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect. It's kind of hard to control and whatnot, but it looks pretty good in there. I'm pretty happy with that. This side, I also did. So, I mean, you can kind of see the before and after, like right here is what it looked like throughout the whole thing. And now it's just this nice black, and hypothetically should be coated. And help make sure it doesn't spread any further than that. I don't know, we'll see. In my brain though, even if I only get 80% of it coated, it's a lot better than having no coating at all, you know what I mean? And then this should also have rust converter in it, I think. So it should convert any of the rust that it lands on. Hopefully, I think it does at least. But anyway, let's clean off this frame and get some Pour 15 laid down. Okay, it is now time to do the internal coating. I did go ahead and wipe down the frame 2 times with water. I dried it off thoroughly. I just finished air compressing it and making sure I blew out all the seams and stuff. I think we're good. And I'll have a little bit more dry time because this is probably gonna take 20 to 30 minutes for us to do. So it's pretty easy. I did put a new nozzle on it just because I'm sure the other one is all clogged up with the dried paint from yesterday. So all you do is just shove it into the holes of the frame and then give it a spray and it goes. And it's kind of cool because I don't think I can really show you guys, but this nozzle, when you press it, it's not like it just shoots straight. It kind of fans out. So it gives you a little bit of an easier job getting some good coverage here. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and try my best to thoroughly coat all these. And then once that's done, we'll begin the Pour 15. It's time for the Pour 15. I'm really excited to see what this looks like on the frame. We got my roller. Oh man, this thing is jammed up. There we go. Let's see. Oh, you guys. This thing is gonna look freaking brand new. So we're gonna do 2 coats. And you go fairly thin on the coats. You don't need to go super thick. So we will roll this whole thing out. And man, even just after that one pass, you guys, look at that. This thing is gonna look good. I'm pumped. All right, I'm gonna finish this puppy off camera because it's probably gonna take a minute, but I'm excited. I'm real excited. You guys are lucky. You don't have to sit here for an hour doing this. You get to just see the end result in a second here. But I'm pumped. And you guys will see the end result in a second. All right, you guys. I have finally finished the frame. I'm going to show it to you in a second, but I do want to talk about something real quick. First of all, I'm really tired right now. It is almost 3 a.m. I started at, I want to say like 9 p.m. So I've been at it for quite some time and I'm dead. My back's killing me from all the leaning over and whatnot. So that wasn't fun. But anyway, I ran into some issues. The Pour 15 did not work out, which is unfortunate because I love Pour 15. However, it's just hard because this frame is 45 years old. And I think without doing like an acid dip or getting it sandblasted really thoroughly, it's very difficult to remove all the contaminants. Really difficult. I mean, I power washed it at the beginning before I filmed all this. That was like a month ago. Power washed it and degreased it and like scrubbed it thoroughly. And then after that, and in this video, right, we wire wheeled it. After I was done wire wheeling it, I wiped it down with lacquer thinner 2 times, and then I did Pour 15's degreaser, which I wiped that down. I believe I did it, I want to say twice, but it might have been once. And then after that, I wiped it down with the metal prep, and then did the water wipes twice. So I did a lot of cleaning. It's just hard. To get all the nooks and crannies and stuff, it's really difficult to get it super clean without, like I said, doing like an acid bath, or sandblasting would be pretty good too, because it would be able to get in those nooks and crannies pretty well, which is unfortunate. So I got fish eyes with the Pour 15. That's what I'm trying to get at. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but basically there was some grease or something in the metal and I got fisheyes, and I was like, okay, well, that means it's not clean enough. I grabbed some acetone, wiped it down, grabbed lacquer thinner, wiped it down, and I was like, okay, like it should be clean enough to the point where I should be able to paint on this now. I laid down some, and I got fisheyes again. I was like, okay, like I don't know, I could try to sit here for another 15 hours and keep cleaning, and maybe get to the point where I don't get fisheyes with the Pour 15. But who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know if I could ever get to that point without doing the acid bath or sandblasting, right? So a little unfortunate there, but I had trusty old Rust-Oleum, I'm trying to remember what the exact one it is, but it's the can one. It's not a spray paint one. I think it's like Seal and Reform or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I used it on the Miata, and I had pretty good luck with the underside, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not do a good job prepping that thing. I remember there still being dirt in the the underside, and I just, yeah, you guys didn't hear that, right? Forget what I said, right? But basically what I'm getting at is the Rust-Oleum didn't care. It went right over it. It didn't give me any issues. There was no fisheyes. There was nothing. Now, with that said, obviously Pour 15 is a little bit stronger. It's better. I will say that over the Rust-Oleum. But I'm not too worried. I think I've mentioned this before, but this frame looks phenomenal after 45 years with no coating. I think it's going to last another 60. It's not like I'm going to be driving this in the snow. And if it's raining out, I won't even be driving it. But it's like, I'm not saying it's not going to see rain. You know, like if I'm on a road trip or something and it rains, it's seeing rain. But if I'm at home and it's raining out, I'm going to take a different car. So it's not going to be getting too much weather, you know, at least not salt and stuff from snow. But yeah, anyway, that's me rambling for 4 whole minutes. I'm really sorry about that. Let me show you the frame. So I just finished, it is still curing, but I did 2 coats and I was very thorough with it. And I'm really happy with how it looks. So you can see right there, it's still a little wet, but it looks dang good, you guys. Really good. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait for it to be completely dry because it has kind of a satin finish. Over here is kind of the best area. This is where I started. So I started in the back, did the whole back section, and then worked my way forward on this frame rail first and then looped around. But so this is not completely dry yet, but this is kind of an idea of what it will look like all the way around once it is dry. But looks pretty dang good, you guys. Pretty dang good. And I mean, I got all the nooks and crannies. So all up in here is nice and, all up in here is nice and coated. And then underneath here is coated as well. I actually used the spray internal coater thing up in here because it was easier than trying to brush. I don't think I could have honestly done that great of a job doing the brush. So really glad I got those cans. That worked out really nice. But yeah, you guys, so she is nice and coated now. I am a little disappointed about the Pour 15. First of all, I spent over $200 on that gallon. I would have used nowhere near a gallon for the frame, but I wanted some extra for other bits and bobs, you know. I mean, it's never bad to have some paint on hand, which I'm still going to use it. I think I'm going to use it to paint some other stuff, and hopefully I don't have any issues, because I would like to paint I think I was going to do like the dust shields and stuff with the black, and then I also bought a gallon of silver Pour 15, which is on its way right now, which I'm really nervous for, because I'm really hoping that the suspension bits don't get fisheyes. I did have them sandblasted, so they have a much better chance at being good. And then also like for the half shafts, I didn't have them sandblasted, but I'll soak them in some diesel, scrub them down really good, degrease them really, really good, and we'll scuff them up and stuff. So I think we'll have a good shot with everything. Hopefully, we'll see. It's just kind of surprising, because I'm not gonna lie, I've painted Pour 15 over some questionable things on the Miata, and nothing like major rust, but I've definitely like painted it over some nasty stuff, and it did fine. So I was really surprised that I was getting fish eyes, especially with how thorough I was with cleaning this. I mean, as thorough as you can be without sandblasting and stuff. But anyway, I will see you guys either tomorrow or the day after. I'm dead. I'm gonna go slam my burrito that was a leftover and take a shower, get ready for bed, and yeah. It is the next day. The frame is completely dry now, and man, it looks pretty good. I'm honestly pretty happy with this Rust-Oleum, and the full cure time is, I think on the can it said 7 or 8 days. Don't remember exactly which one, but once that happens, we'll kind of do a little test and see how strong it is, you know. But as of right now, it is still fairly soft, but I mean, that's kind of expected. Hasn't even been 24 hours yet. But anyway, we have a lot of prep work to do, a lot. All right, you guys, I'm making some progress on these half shafts. This one is soaking in a tub of Evapo-Rust. I don't have enough in there to submerge the whole thing, so I have these microfibers that I got soaked in the Evapo-Rust, and I just kind of wrapped it around the half shaft. That way it can kind of stay wet, because it needs to be in there for probably like 20 to 30 minutes to work its magic. So every few minutes I'll get those towels wet and reapply them. But anyway, this half shaft, I'm gonna go ahead and degrease right now with some lacquer thinner and a red Scotch-Brite and just scuff it up. The red Scotch-Brite will really help eat through any of the grease that's on there. But yeah, so I'll kind of try to show you before. It's sort of hard to tell on camera, but really up in these creases right here is where there's the most grease, like on this side. I don't know if you can really see it. It's hard too because the metal is a little shiny from wire wheeling, so it's a little deceiving. But that's the main areas that look bad. There's not a whole lot of grease on there, but I'm gonna go ahead and get scrubbing real quick, and I'll show you the end result. All right, here is the end result. Granted, I will probably need to scuff this with a little bit more of an aggressive grit before painting, but the Scotch-Brite did a good job at cutting through all the grease and grime. But as you can see in here, it looks a lot better. There's no more grease spots in where the U-joint goes. Looks much better. I didn't go crazy on these, if you guys were worried about that. Just a few seconds, which honestly, it kind of polished them up nicely. Red Scotch-Brites are not super aggressive. They're roughly like 400 to 500 grit sandpaper. So not very aggressive. But yeah, looks really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one in the Evapo-Rust bath, and then while these guys are soaking, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on that heat shielding, which that I've decided I'm not gonna paint. I don't think it'll get very hot just because of how far back it is, but I don't think it's worth it, because if it does get hot enough where it's gonna peel, it's gonna be really annoying. So I think as long as we can make it look 80% better and just clean, we'll just send it. But yeah, so that's the game plan. Man, I've been saying that a lot this video. That's probably like the 5th time I think I've said that. That's all right. I also say all right a lot too. Like a lot, if you don't notice that. Anyway, let's do it. All right, the heat shielding is done, and it turned out pretty good. So this is the inside, much better. The underside, much better as well. But I don't know if you guys can see, but there's just a lot of pitting from rocks and whatnot, flinging up and hitting it. But much, much better. And then this is also something super easy in the future to remove. If I'm really itching to take it off and do like a high temp paint on it, I can do that. It's not gonna be that difficult to do. But for now, I think it's pretty enough where I'm not gonna be kicking myself too hard for just running them as is. They look pretty good. The smaller one cleaned up pretty well as well. Not as good, it has a little bit more staining, but pretty good. I could try this stuff called Aluminum Bright. I might pick it up because I mean, it might be able to get some of the staining out and make it look even better. I don't know. I'll look into it and see. But this one turned out good, but not nearly as good as the other one. We're making some good progress here. I think the next thing I'm gonna tackle is, what do I want to do? We don't have like a crazy amount left. Well, I guess we kind of do, but it doesn't feel too bad. I mean, we're making some good time in here. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is, let's do the gas tank strap, or the gas tank, what did I call it earlier? Gas tank brace? No, that doesn't sound right. Gas tank, bracket? I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. I'm gonna say bracket. I don't know why it took me so long to get that to my noggin, but all right, let's do it. All right, after some elbow grease, she is all done and looks pretty good, nice and degreased. And like I said, we will clean this one more time before paint. But for now, she is all good. Next, we're gonna do the front sway bar and get that guy done. From here, it does not look too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it and we'll see what it looks like close up. Yeah, this is in pretty good shape. I don't know, the sway bars is like the one thing I'm not upgrading. Originally, my plan was just to do new bushings and like make sure everything's nice and new. I may or may not have ordered a full coilover conversion, front and rear. So we have that, and then obviously all new bushings, and some other goodies coming. So, and then a Borgeson, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Borgeson steering box, which is supposed to be a little bit more responsive and tight than the OEM. So we got a good amount of upgrades going. So the sway bar, I don't know why I don't have a rear sway bar, but I'll probably leave them stock for now. It's something that I can go in there later on and change them out pretty easily. So, and I'm not gonna be tracking the car or anything, so I don't think we need to worry about cornering too much. So, yeah, not saying the sway bar is only used for cornering, just so you guys know. But definitely does keep it more planted when you have a nice sway bar. But for now, I think the OEM will be just fine. So we'll clean her up and run it for probably a year or two. The next thing I'm gonna be prepping is the gas tank. This one shouldn't be that hard, to be honest with you. It's really not that bad, other than some slight surface rust. So we'll just wire wheel it and then just go through with the Scotch-Brite and scuff the whole thing and clean it a little bit. But again, not too bad. The only thing that's gonna suck is this foam. So I think as long as we can get like 90% of it off, the wire wheel will take care of the rest. We just need to knock it down because it's pretty thick. It's pretty good. And unfortunately, when you try ripping it, it doesn't really rip all that great. So I have a razor blade. I'm gonna go through and rip it and cut it and just try to get as much off as I can. And once that's done, wire wheel it. Should be good. I have a little update on the gas tank. So I've gotten the majority of the foam off. Obviously there's still residue that I need to do, but I went ahead, took out the assembly and emptied the rest of the gas out. I'm gonna let this thing air out for a little bit before I get my power tools next to it, because that just does not sound like a fantastic idea to me to be getting a drill that gets really hot right next to a lot of gas vapors. And I mean, I did use some microfibers and wipe in there, so I got most of the gas out, but there's definitely still a lot of residual. And I don't really want to play with that. Do not want to find out if this thing will blow up on me. So we're gonna let this thing probably sit for, I don't know, an hour for the gas to just evaporate some. But in the meantime, we will start work on this guy. So we need to take this thing apart a little bit here, and then we'll probably clean these plastic pieces in the sink. We probably won't be able to get them perfect, but we should be able to make them look decent. And then we'll put a coating on them that will make them look a little better. Probably just some tire shine or something. Nothing special, but it'll bring back some of that blackness. But anyway, let's start taking this thing apart, huh? There is something I completely overlooked with this rear crash bar thing. These plastics are riveted in. Granted, yeah, I could drill them out and, you know, take them off and clean them up and stuff. I thought they were just bolted in. I'm not gonna spend all that time trying to drill these out and putting new rivets in and all that fun stuff. We're just gonna clean it up as best as I can with them still attached. I think we can still make it look decent. We can get rid of that overspray, and then we'll put a dressing on the black, and it should bring it back to life a little bit. We also will cut out, what side was it on? Where is it? Oh, right here. The exhaust melted this a little bit, so we'll cut that out and make it look a little better. And then these guys I was able to remove, which this is the metal part anyway. Aluminum can't rust, so these guys we will degrease, clean, and paint. And then this we will also paint. I don't know what it's for though. If I had to take a guess, it's for a tow hook. But I don't know how much I believe that, because there's only 2 mounting points for it. So I don't know. I mean, it could be for a tow hook, but it might be for something else. That's just my guess. If you guys know, what is that for? But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and see what we can do about this guy cleaning wise. This guy is done for now. I did not put the tire dressing on here because I think that's what I'm gonna use to freshen it up and make the plastic look a little cleaner. I don't know, it's kind of overkill. I might not do it, but anyway, I want to pressure wash it before it goes on the car, just because there's so many nooks and crannies. Like, as you can see right here, I got pretty good. Like, I'm pretty happy with how clean this section is, but in each one of these little squares, it's gross. So I think pressure washing it will be the best bet, and it will be able to remove a good amount of this. The backside, same thing. It's just not very happy with it. It looks better than before, that's for sure. So I think if we just pressure wash it so there's no dirt on it, and we get rid of a little bit more of that, I'm gonna call it staining, but it's really just grime that's built on there, you know? It's kind of like oxidation. But if we can get a little bit of more of that off, I think we'll be good, and I'll be happy with it. Now we can move on to these 3 guys. Which I think I'm going to put these in the sink with some degreaser. I think that would be the easiest way to tackle those. Here we go. These guys are all nice and cleaned up, look much better, and they are ready for paint. Well, kind of. We'll clean them one more time, but we'll do that before paint. Now we have the gas tank, which I did get all that adhesive off, but I'm going to go through with the Scotch-Brite, clean it up with some lacquer thinner, make it a little bit better, then we'll wipe it down again. And then for the inside, I don't know if I should use lacquer thinner or if I should use gasoline, but I want to scrub it a little bit. Let me see if I can show you guys. I have a light right here. Let's see. Right, I don't know if you guys can tell. There's a little bit of sediment and stuff. It's not bad at all, but I would like to get it out, or at least 90% of it out. Obviously, I'm going to have a fuel filter and stuff, so I mean, the rest of it should get caught, but I would rather not have anything in the tank. You know what I mean? I'm already out, have the tank out, and can clean it. I may as well do that. So I'm going to try to get as much of that sediment out as I can. But I'll do that after I completely clean the tank, because I'm sure I'll probably knock a few things in there. But yeah, so I think this is pretty much the only thing left other than the straps. I decided I'm going to save the radiator support for another day because I'm tired of doing all this prep. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 8 hours now, somewhere around there. And this guy's going to be fun because of the amount of overspray on it from when I painted the car. So yeah, I think I'm going to put aircraft paint remover on it to strip it off, and then maybe like power wash it or something. And then also there's like trapped sediment in the frame of it, just from over the years of driving, I guess. But yeah, so I need to try to get all that out, and I think power washing and an air compressor will be the best bet for that. So anyway, that guy's getting saved for another day because I don't want to do that today. And we can paint it another time. We have plenty of other stuff we need to paint still, like the bumper support. We got to do that, and the headlight brackets, we'll paint those too. So there's a lot of stuff we need to paint still. All that will get painted black, probably just with the rust converter one, the Rust-Oleum, honestly. That'll be the easiest. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do the gas tank, and then we'll call it a night. And then tomorrow we'll lay down some paint, and man, soon we're going to be going back together, which is going to be weird. We can potentially, this upcoming week, get the first thing back on the car, which will probably be the gas tank, because I feel like that will be the easiest thing. That is so weird to me to think that we're getting close to going back together. This thing has changed a lot in my ownership already. I mean, it already kind of looks sort of like a different car. I mean, when I first got it, the paint was all messed up and nasty and peeling, and had issues with that. And then there was some bodywork issues. The frame looked gross. There was so much grease everywhere, and just, oh, it was bad. Not awful, but it was nasty. And now, I mean, it's pretty clean. And in here was like, used to be covered with grease. Like that transmission tunnel, there was probably like an 1/8 inch of just grease that I had to scrape off, which is kind of crazy to think about. And now it is extremely clean. So kind of cool. All right, that's enough rambling. I'm gonna do the gas tank now. It is a few days later. I did paint a few things off camera. So the gas tank is halfway done. We need to flip it over and paint the underside. Unfortunately, I can't really paint it all in one go, which sucks, but I also did wipe out the inside of the tank and stuff, so once I paint the other side, it will be good to go. And then painted all this up. Looks better. Same thing with these. I need to flip them over to paint the underside. Couldn't really do it all in one go. Then these, I painted most of it. This guy turned out really nice. So almost done with those. I'll probably finish them up in a day or two. I want them to dry a little more before we flip it over, mainly just for the gas tank, because it's a little bit heavy, and I'm worried that if I flip it over too soon before the paint cures a little more, we could scratch up the side, the front side right here, make it look really ugly. So we'll give it a few more days. Anyway, today we are going to be painting the rest of the suspension bits, or at least most of it. We'll probably have to do 2 sessions. So my plan is to do all the silver stuff today, which is the majority of it. I'm not really looking forward to it because we're gonna have a lot of taping off to do. And then also we need to figure out how we're gonna hang this stuff, because I think I'm gonna spray it because I think that'll be easier and quicker, and we'll probably get better results as well. But we need to figure out how we want to do that. I'm kind of thinking right now we get some step ladders and then run rope across it and then hang the stuff. That's what I'm kind of thinking right now. I don't know, because we should be able to run the rope right through where the bushings go, on the control arms at least. The dust shield and all the stuff for the spindle, don't know. And then these little guys, I guess we could run it through these holes right here. That should work. So yeah, we got a lot to figure out here. And then for the spindle itself, we can probably run it through a bolt hole. So, I mean, we should be able to get something to work here. It's just, yeah, not gonna be too fun. And I wanna wipe them down one more time before we paint. So, I think right now what we're gonna do is get the step ladders set up, and then I'll clean and tape off a part and then hang it up. And then just keep going and doing that. And I'll have to wear gloves because we don't wanna get oil from my hands on the parts too. So, that's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and get the step ladders out and stuff and get this all set up. It is a few days later and all of my suspension bits are painted. Well, I guess I shouldn't say all, but most of them. And I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. There's a few imperfections here and there. Like I have a hair from the brush in this one. So that really annoys me because I was trying my best to go through everything and make sure I got all the hairs out, because the brush was just falling apart on me because I bought really cheap ones. Lesson learned, but is what it is. I mean, at least it's on the lower control arm. Really the only ones that I care about like looking decent are, I'll show you. These I care because you're gonna see them in the engine bay, and these look really nice. Or at least the ones for the upper control arms. And the upper control arms also look really nice. So I'm happy. Those are the only things you see. Other than that, I mean, you're not gonna really see them, you know? And they turned out decent enough. They look good. Anyway, I also got something else that came in. Cross member. So this is specifically built for a T56 to mount up to. And then also, you guys, you see how this is notched right here? It's for your exhaust. So it makes it easier to pipe or run your exhaust piping. On the original, it's just a solid bar all the way across. And I doubt it's as strong as this too. But yeah, so that's really exciting. I'm pumped about this. So tonight we're gonna go ahead and paint the rest of the stuff black. And we're also gonna go ahead and throw the cross member on right now, just so it's out of the way. And why not? You know what I mean? Why not throw it on? It'll take 2 seconds. We're not gonna like tighten it all the way down or anything, but we'll get it on there and take a little look-see at how it's gonna look. So I'm excited. Let's go ahead and toss it. All right, let's go ahead and do it. Going this way a little easier. Go like this. Tried my best to not scratch up all the paint. Maybe I start on this side. Okay, that should have caught enough threads. And my other bolt is right here. Nice. Okay, now I'll get these started. That was a little annoying to do, I won't lie. There we go. Took 2 seconds. Obviously I gotta tighten it up, but I don't think we wanna go super tight yet because it's probably gonna need you to get moved around a little bit because it looks like it has some play side to side, maybe. Probably not much though once you get the top bolt in. So yeah, I guess not really. I don't know. We'll just kind of leave it like that though for now. There we go, cross member is in. I don't have it fully tightened down at all. It's very loose still. And the reason for that is I don't know if I'm gonna need to make adjustments when we get the transmission in, I don't know. So, and also we need to get these top bolts in still. So I just kind of have them hand tight, still very loose, but you guys, I'm excited. This is gonna look so good. So we're gonna do a glossy black for that gas tank strap. I think that will look really good and kind of tie in the glossy black. And I was thinking, I think we gotta do the sway bar glossy black too. I think that'll kind of really help tie in everything. Because once you get this on there, you can really see that this is like a nice flat black and this is glossy or semi-gloss. So yeah, not that it really matters. It's gonna be under the car. No one's gonna see it, but yeah, I'm excited. It's a few days later and check it out. I am done painting, or at least with this batch. Everything turned out decent. I will say I am not a giant fan of Pour 15 anymore. I don't know if they changed the formula or what, but I don't know. It was just kind of laying a little weird in some places and whatnot, but it is what it is. It all turned out fine. I didn't get fish eyes or anything like that like I did on the frame, so that wasn't an issue because everything was sandblasted and there was no serious nooks and crannies, so it was super easy to degrease and clean, unlike the frame where you literally have the inside frame, you know what I mean? Where you can't really clean that very much. So no fish eyes, no issues like that. Really, first of all, with the silver, it's just the metallic that laid down weird. So not a huge fan of that. You can't really see it too well on camera. I'm sure if I get close, you kind of can. Let me see, where's a good one? It's kind of hard because a lot of these are just ugly as is, even if I painted them black, just because there's splatter and stuff everywhere from when they welded them. Oh, right here I got a nice run, so that sucks, but that is what it is. I don't know if you're gonna be able to really tell on camera, but basically the metallic just kind of, in some places there's more than other places, if that makes sense. And I tried my best when I was laying it down to brush, and like move all the paint everywhere. So that was kind of an issue. Not the worst thing. And then the black, it laid down so beautiful. After my first coat, I was like, man, this looks fantastic. And then I went back for the second coat and I think I laid it on a little too thick. So this was user error, I think. It's all fine, but you can see in some places it's a little shiny. Like it's shinier than other places, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, so I don't know. But it's funny because like then you have the Rust-Oleum where like I didn't even really try. Like obviously I cleaned the gas tank really well and prepped it good and stuff, but like I was just rolling it on and brushing it on like thick and heavy, and like I didn't get great coats, but like the finish on it is consistent all throughout and really nice. So kind of funny. And also I will say I am kind of impressed with this Rust-Oleum. Like let me scratch on a spot that you won't see because obviously I'm not going to go scratch all over the frame, but these get covered up. It does not come off at all. Like it is strong. Obviously I'm sure if I got a screwdriver and started just, it would come off. But like, I mean, you go crazy enough even on powder coating, it will come off. So that's not really like a great example. So I'm sure if a rock flings up and hits it, yes, it will chip, but I think it's actually pretty strong. Stronger than I remember, to be honest with you, especially considering the frame was prepped pretty well. And the gas tank, everything I painted was prepped pretty well. So, but yeah, I'm excited. Like now we're to the point where we're ready to get like the suspension stuff put back together, which I have all new ball joints. There are bushings in this kit that I bought, but I also bought some different bushings. So we'll probably use the other bushings that come soon, but I will use all the ball joints out of this. And also I think it had like a new stuff for the front steering. So that's cool. And it comes with all new hardware. So that was like 250 bucks. Well worth it, I think. And then also I picked a little something up. I got my first welder. I'm really pumped about this. I know it is the Harbor Freight Special. It is not a Miller or a Lincoln, but this should be more than enough for what I'm using it for. Thank you for watching all the way to the very end. I really appreciate it. I truly do. In the next video, we will be putting stuff back onto the frame. I don't know how much we'll get done because I know this is going to take a few weeks to get everything back on, but hopefully we can get like maybe the rear end assembled or something. I'm also still waiting on a lot of parts to come in the mail, and I don't really know when they're going to be coming in. So anyway, Again, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.